What's up, guys? Today is the 1 hour vibe. So today we're gonna go check out Idea Browser, see what's on there, and see what we can build in an hour. So let's go learn together, and let me know in the comments if there's anything that you think I could have done better, and I'll try to learn some stuff from you. Maybe you can learn some stuff from me also. So let's get started. First, I'm gonna make my face smaller. That's a little too big. Cool. So here we have ideabrowser.com. They give a free idea of the day every day. Visual part finder. So let's read this over. Visual part finder that turns appliance photos into instant repair solutions. Appliance photos. So recently I just had a dryer where the motor went out and had to have somebody come over and look at the motor, and eventually got the part. So maybe we can use some of that data. Basically what I did was just took a picture of the model of the motor that needed to be fixed and then found that on Amazon and purchased that. So this is saying that, it's maybe like a Google Lens alternative, but specific for appliance. So this would be targeted to only technicians and DIY fixers. Let you just snap a photo of any broken part and identify it completely. So let's see what we can do. Is there any other details? Offer, why now? I'll just take this and I'm going to throw it into Claude and see, can you grab the latest idea from. All right, so I'll just explain part of my process as we go through this. So what I like to do when I first get an idea is kind of flesh out the idea a little bit and then do some research on like how this might be implemented. And then I'll kind of plan out the project, maybe some sort of technical scoping, maybe some specification, maybe behavior-driven development kind of thing. And then I'll pass that into something like Claude Code, and we'll go through that and put the link in the description so that you can check out the code, so you can check it out, whatnot. So let's see, while it's doing that, maybe we'll just copy this. I have reading mode. And then if you start highlighting the text, you can just select all the text over here. I'll just do it this way. What's this button? Let's look at this button. This is probably the link we want. Car Health Genius. I wonder if that changes. Let me start a new chat. We'll see if we can get on the same page. Oh, so they really deep dive. I wonder if you have to pay to view the. Yep. So we'll just see what they can find here. See if it's the same idea. Otherwise, we'll just copy paste it in. Copy pasta. So thanks for joining me on this first one. I have no idea how this is going to go. Hopefully, there's not too much sitting around waiting for AI to do stuff. So while this works, why don't I set up my GitHub account, and I'm going to start a new organization. So you get to join in on that fun stuff. Is it a business or is it personal? It belongs to me. I accept. Oh, that's adding members. Skip that step. I don't like the dashes. I wonder if I can change that. So, for those of you who don't know, GitHub is just a place to keep your code and remember all the things, all your code and all the versions of your code. So, yeah. I do not know where to change the profile. Where do I change? so this is Perplexity. If you guys haven't used Perplexity, highly recommend it. It's like the Google of the future. How to change your username in GitHub. Go to account, change username. I guess it's an org name actually. Change the name, rename the organization. Danger zone, rename. The MVP dev. All right. Kevin at the MVP.dev. The MVP.dev. All right. That looks good. Let's upload a new picture. Let's go, let's see. This isn't going to be a good one. All right, I'm going to pause the video while I get the branding picture real quick. All right, so I downloaded the image. Here we go. Looks great. All right, cool. That is good to go. So let's go back to Claude and see if it found anything. Anything? Nothing? Refresh? Nothing. All right, well, that didn't work out too well. Let's try Gemini. Can you check out the idea of day here? I wonder if they have like settings on the web page. Drone inspection platform. Yeah, so this is, oh wait, no, second idea. Let's go with the second idea. What can you tell me about that idea? All right, concept, cool. All right, so why don't you flesh out a few paragraphs worth of description on how this would work and all that. We're not going to get too crazy. Oh, not going to get too crazy in all this. All right. So I'm going to copy this. And then I have a project called my CTO. And yes, I do have another project called I'm Lost, but that is a way to find help whenever you're lost in a vibe coding project. Maybe we'll do a video on that later, but all right. So here you can see all my pet sound music video AI ideas. I'm just going to post that in there. What this CTO does is it just continues to ask questions like, how do you want to do this? How do you want to do that? How do you want to do this? It looks like Claude's just having a hard time today. And maybe it's my internet while I'm streaming this video at the same time. So let's just do this. Sorry, Claude. CTO. I'll copy these instructions. Now I'll go to Gemini. And we're just gonna start a new chat. Actually, switch. We're gonna do a new gem. Explore gem, create gem, paste the gem. So a gem, if you don't know, is basically like a custom GPT or a Claude project. They just have different names. All it is a saved prompt, and then you give it some knowledge files, and then you get the same prompt every time. So in this prompt, the chat just kind of asks questions about how you want to implement it and gives you a few different ideas. So I'll show you how it works here. We'll paste in, oh wait, no, that was the chat. We'll paste in the visual parts finder. Summary of the idea. Your idea is a visual part finder. Questions for the client. What is the core technology you envision for the visual search and identification? Off-the-shelf APIs, custom trained model, hybrid approach. Let's see. What do we want? Let's use some AI to check it out. I've heard that OpenAI's vision capabilities is pretty good, so do that. And then how do you plan to acquire and maintain the comprehensive part database? Great question. Part database. Can we... So you have the image and you're trying to get the exact part. I wonder if you could like scrape eBay or scrape Amazon. There's a lot of parts on eBay. Maybe there's some way to scrape eBay. Might be able to capture the category of the part. For example, if it is a washing machine part or a dryer part, and that could help limit the scope of what it is scraping off eBay, period, or something even more specific like Maytag dryer motor, and that could help narrow the scope down quite a bit. All right. There's still going to be like thousands of parts for even that specific Maytag dryer motor, but we only have an hour, so we'll see what we can do. What is the most critical feature to prove the concept? The visual search plus user accounts limited catalog for search. I guess we could start with something specific like washing machines. What do we want to do? I want to just see if we can take a picture of the part and it can find it on eBay. Can we? I'll just say that. I want to take a picture of the part and see if we can find the same part on eBay. And maybe return a list of the 20 most likely matches, along with price and title and description. All right, and then let's see. No, I'm just having a rough time. Try it again. Here we go. Yes. And so this prompt will just keep asking you questions over and over and over. So we'll just get to a point where we're like, okay, I think I got the idea pretty good. So let's see what other questions it says. How will you handle variations in part condition and perspective? User's photo could be blurry, taken at a strange angle. The part itself might be dirty or damaged. How do you plan to ensure visual search still returns accurate results? Yeah, I'm thinking like a confidence score. If the confidence score is low, then maybe have the user help with the filtering. The app could ask the user for additional details. Yeah, that's what we want to do. So for number one, so whenever I give AI feedback, I like to give it not just like 1, B. You can do that, but you're kind of trusting that, especially if you're doing lots of questions in the same way, that it's going to be able to keep track of all the different answers that you gave, which it's getting to the point where it can, but I just like to make it a little easier. So and just copy pasting the answer is going to be helpful in the end, I think. So the goal here is to create kind of a document describing all our features that we've talked about here. Then I'm going to take that document and put it into another planning scoping tool that I just heard about. I'm going to try it out, called Shotgun CLI. So Stay tuned for that. Here we go. Let's see. Let's answer a couple more questions, then we'll get going on that. What's your strategy for structuring and querying the eBay data? Simply search for Maytag dryer motor. Might return thousands of results. Combining words with image data. Using eBay's API. That would be great. I don't know if we have time for that. We're also gonna try this, maybe. I've never done eBay APIs. I don't know if that's some APIs are really easy to set up. Like you barely have to have an account to get an API key and stuff. Others are like stupid hard. Like anything you want to do with Google is not always the easiest, at least in my experience. Maybe you guys have. Let me know if you like Google API is the easiest thing for you, because then we can become friends and you can do all the Google API stuff for me. Number 3, how would you provide a seamless user experience beyond just search results? Yeah, I don't want to worry about that too much. Not worried about this in stage 1. All right, so at this point, I'm gonna switch over to use the canvas tool and give it some directions. I always like to kind of like separate what like different topics or ways I talk about things with 3 lines is a good delimiter. Let's see. What do I want from this document at this point in time? Would you take the answers that we've come up with and the direction that we're headed and put it into one big business requirements type of document? Question mark. All right, and so when it comes up with this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that document, I'm gonna throw it back in Gemini to do deep research and see if it can't find some of the things that like kind of flesh out some more of the details. So I'm even gonna use my CTO, just maybe it'll give it a little bit more context. No, we can't use that. So let's go back, new chat. No thanks. Okay, let's see what it comes up with. And then we gotta figure out what we're gonna do while we wait for that. We'll check out Shotgun CLI while we wait for this research. Man, okay, maybe it's just my internet is going slow today. Hard to record 1080p and chat with AI at the same time, I guess. Anyways. Okay, analyze the core business concept, evaluate feasibility common cases, research different revenue models, explore the market for application parts and specific needs, compare contrast leveraging third-party APIs, investigate performance benchmarks, mobile's visual search. I'm just going to give it some more details. Like, this is a mobile web app. Don't care about business models right now. And I'm more concerned about technical scoping and technical feasibility at this point. Don't care about benchmarks. That's fine. Send it. So a lot of times what I've seen people, they want to use these really advanced tools, but they don't take the extra couple minutes to review. Like, I'm going to assume that this is probably good. I'm not going to review it this time, but just do an initial review. If you do a couple of reviews, even better, but you got to do at least one, I would think, most of the time. If it's an idea worth trying out, then give it an initial review and make sure that whatever it came out with is even close to what you're after. And then just giving a little bit of direction can go a long ways. It's the whole idea, like if you're 1 degree off when you're flying from LA to New York, you're going to end up in a completely different state if you're just 1 degree off. So at the very beginning, try to give it a little bit more direction. It doesn't have to be perfect, but because we're trying to get something done and keep moving. But I would say just review it a little bit. So I'm going to let this run. We're going to check out Shotgun CLI. So shotgun, nope, that's not how you spell shotgun. Here we go. So to get started, just copy this. You can click on it. First time I copied it, I copied the little underscore to you. That was not helpful, but just click it to copy. Go over to your terminal. I use Warp. If you go to warp.dev, this is a great tool. It is becoming an actual code editor as well, similar to like our other vibe coding tools that are CLI based. It started out as just terminal, but now it's added all of these file editing features. So pretty slick. You know, if you download Claude Code and you get some credits there, and then if you have Warp and you get some credits there, and you have Cursor and you get some credits there, and you use Gemini and you get some credits there, you could probably build this app in different places for free if you really had to. But find the tools you like, spend the money on them. I would say 20-40 bucks a month if you're going to build stuff full time, especially like I am. And then yeah, so let's see, let's make sure we're in the right directory. I don't think I've made a directory yet for this, so we're gonna do the insights, we'll do the 1 hour vibe. All right, and -p makes it do it if it doesn't exist, I think. All right, and if you don't know what you're doing, just say help me do this, and then add command up arrow to attach that block, and then Warp will do the work for you. So you got to do the -p before. See, we're learning new stuff. We'll try it over here, see what happens. All right. See. Maybe give 1 hour vibe. All right. I'm going to open this up in Cursor. If I have that command. I don't have that command. I'm going to not have Warp do that. I'm just going to open up Cursor. I don't have Cursor downloaded yet. So I'm going to open up in Visual Code. Yes, I trust the authors. All right, but that's not actually where I want to be. We're going to create a new repo for this. And this is going to be we'll do visual parts finder. We'll do that. I'll create the repo, copy this here. Let's see, we call it vibe visual parts finder. I think that's what we call it. Yep. And then we'll run all these commands, see what's going on there. All right, so I'm gonna pause the video. I thought this might happen, but I don't. I need to figure out I've been having issues with GitHub recently. I might have to use HTTPS instead of the Git version. So I'm gonna do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so it was on this by default. I just clicked it to HTTPS, and I'm gonna grab this one line here, and I'm gonna tell Warp to use HTTPS instead. I'm gonna attach that, and I think it's gonna ask me for a personal access token. So what I think it should do is remove the old remote, get remote, and add the new get remote. Yep, so it's removing the origin. Now it's adding the HTTPS version. Sweet. Now it's gonna try to push it. I think it's gonna ask for password or not. Okay, so I've already saved my personal access token for this, so it should be pushed. Now I use a tool called source tree to kind of, for some reason it's in sudo, but it is. Wow, okay. A lot of stuff going on, let me deal with all this. All right, so I just canceled all those pop-ups, and we'll see if we run into issues anywhere here. So where we're at now is that we have this project, we have a folder, we have a GitHub repo, so that's basically where we're gonna store our files, our code in the cloud so that it's not just on this computer. You guys will be able to access that. By the way, I don't think I set this up to be public, but I'm gonna do that now. Change visibility to public. Do it. Okay. So now you can view this repo publicly. All right, so we have the folder here on my computer with the code, and it's able to be synced up to the cloud and stored. So now let's go check on our research. All right, so we got some research here, some mobile web image capture stuff, client-side image stuff. It's going to use Canvas to capture the image data. All right. I'm not going to run through all this. We're just going to try to run it and see how far we get, because we're getting close to our hour mark here. So it looks like there is an API. There is a search by image. That's nice. Cool. So the reason I do deep research at this stage in the game is because sometimes when you get into the coding tool, they don't check the web for the latest API documentation all the time. Sometimes they do, but you have to be like specific about it. So this way I can be specific about all the things that I want it to do, and I know that it's up to date, or I have higher confidence that it's up to date. And then, and then I think the code it'll just build it better. So I'm gonna go to here, open it up in VS Code. We have this README file here already. I'm gonna create a new file in the docs folder called research. I want it to give me markdown, but I don't know if there's a good way to do that. Let's try to do this. I like using markdown because AI can parse it pretty well, and it keeps your, that's probably good enough for now. It kind of keeps the hierarchy of, this is a H1, this is a H2, so it can read the structure of the document a little bit easier if necessary. So, all right, so we got the docs, the research here, and maybe should we do a PRD, project requirements document? Sure. All right, so we'll try Claude again. So I have another project that helps do PRD. I think it's this. Yeah, so these instructions here, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to copy that, new chat, paste that in, and then we'll paste in this document and you. Okay, so where Gemini calls it a canvas, ChatGPT calls it canvas, Claude calls it an artifact. So, yeah, I think they're just, maybe we can do Sonnet. Instructions, document, create PRD artifact. So I know they did some recent updates just yesterday about file edits, and this is kind of the new artifact view. Before it kind of opened up in the side and started building, but they do it this way now so that it's faster when you ask for edits. You can kind of see it'll show like it took out this many lines or added this many lines if we ask for edits. And so we're kind of doing a lot on the front end of this build just because I think the more details we have on how to build it, then the longer we can let AI build it without us really needing to be a part of the process. So I like doing it that way. The only thing is you want to make sure that it's going in the right direction so that when it starts building the whole thing out, it's going to build what you want. You don't want it to code for 30 minutes and then not be what you want in the end. So typical vibe coding, or like true to form vibe coding where you're totally just vibing, is more like you're just sitting and you're like, let's try this. Okay, and then you type it in and it codes it out. You take a look at it and then you're like, well, I don't know if I really like that. Once you remove this and put in that. And that can work to a certain point, but at some point you end up with code and files in your code that are like 4 different things in the same file, like functions that were like version 1 that you aren't even using anymore, but part of that's still somewhere in the code. And so then at some point when you're working with the editor, the AI gets confused about like, oh, I noticed there's this function, like we should do it this way. And that was like 20 minutes ago. So yeah, so it gets a little convoluted if you just kind of wing it and then adjust with the AI. I think I've found better success if you kind of define the specifications first and then kind of give it everything and say, okay, here's the reference point, like use these as your documents. All right, so what I'm interested in right now is the user stories here at the end. Okay. Capture the image. Yes. As a user, I want to take a photo using my phone's camera so I can put perfect. Process the image. I want the application to analyze my uploaded image and identify the appliance part so that I know what to search for. System displays processing image. Visual recognition API generates text description of the part. All right, so this should be pinging OpenAI's visual aspect. Search the marketplace for matching parts. Online marketplaces so I can find it. Search display. Wow, within 5 seconds. So this, they're saying it's fast. I want to filter the search results by brand, color, size, and other attributes. I don't know if that's that important. Not for right now. Access market listings. Click on search results to go. Yeah, we want that. Handle poor image quality. I want clear guidance when my photo doesn't provide good results so I can take a better picture. and get accurate information. Yes, and have AI ask specific questions about the part that would help limit the search. All right, let's see, use application on mobile devices. Work seamlessly on a smartphone, sure. Maintain privacy and security, sure. Retry failed searches. Okay, fine. Access, help, and guidance. All right, so I'm gonna make this one change, or these two changes rather. So you see here, if I can move this. So the little -11 means it's like removing some things and adding one line. You know, one change is removing, adding one change. So this is probably, I'm going to guess this is using Claude code in the back end somewhere on their side, just because it's faster and more reliable than what they were doing before probably. So, because I'm guessing that more people are using Claude to do more coding tasks. So they've probably built in Claude code kind of in the chat in a sense. That's just a guess right now. I'm shooting from the hip on that one. Speaking from shooting from the hip, let's see. Okay, so once this is done, I'm gonna download it and I'm gonna put it in this document. So here we are at 43 minutes. We haven't actually built anything yet. We've just like been leading up to that. So this just gives you a little bit taste of the process that I do here. So let's download this. Yeah, that's fine. Save it in downloads and then get to see what I've downloaded recently. I'm going to just drag it in to docs. Okay. All right, so now let's check out Shotgun. I haven't used this before, so you can explore it with me. Here we go. All right. Help me research, create detailed specs. Let's check out the help. All right, so there's a lot of different things we could do. Create different sessions, create different conversations. So you can have multiple conversations, but about the same kind of topic. I'm guessing that's what it's kind of like. So you can switch sessions, switch conversations. Artifacts are the things that it's creating during that. You can export it to be useful for Claude, which we'll probably do because I'll use Claude code on this. Feedback shortcuts. Okay. One question I have is, can it check out specific files? No. So I'm going to copy the path of both of these based on this one and this one. Make a plan. All right, so when you first download Shotgun CLI, it'll have you connect to an LLM. You can choose OpenAI, Claude, Gemini, that sort of thing. Okay, so it's saying it can't access the files. Exactly, so I'm just gonna try to paste them all in. We'll see what happens to that. So a little bit of research. Okay, well, hold on there, good buddy. Can we, I don't know if I can stop it. Did I stop it? I just quit it. All right, we'll try this again. So I'm gonna not hit enter. It's thinking. I don't exactly know how Shotgun works, so I think you put in your stuff and then it creates files and sends you over to, oh, so it's still doing a new session. Okay, so it created an artifact. Control T to view. Control O to open. Control 0. learning new things. All right, all providers failed. All right, so let me change models real quick and then we'll try this again. All right, so I'll just show you what I did over here. So I went to /configure and I pulled this up. We're gonna check on Anthropic. I'm gonna paste in my key. I'll just do this. Copy and append copy, and now I can just paste it all in one shot. All right, so now I'm freaking out. Let's do that, just save your eyeballs. So it's, I don't know what it's doing. Maybe it's creating something, but whenever it's done creating stuff, we will check it out. Okay. So I did Control O and it's opening this up and it's creating a document. All right, so it's building this artifact right now. And we've hit 1 hour and we've not quite built it yet. So a lot to learn, a lot to go through. So I hope you learned something in this. Well, I've shortened the video, so maybe we can go for another 10 minutes and see how it goes, but I've hit my 1 hour mark. I can go back over here and see what it's doing. Okay, so this is all running locally on my local host, so I'm not sure where these files are stored. You can share them if you want to, looks like. So it's just done a product overview. Should I continue with personas section next? So it looks like it's kind of taking all the ideas and creating a full plan. There's probably multiple documents that it sets up. Product vision, problem statement. So it's doing some like brand level stuff, and then some metrics, goals, time. All right, so I'm gonna stop the video there, but hopefully that gives you a little bit of taste. Maybe we can, if I run this code, then you can check it out on the GitHub link, which will be in the description. But for now, I hope you have a good time vibing, and let us know if you know what you want to see next. Just put it in the comments below. Otherwise, we'll keep checking out the ideabrowser.com and working on those problems. But if you got a specific problem you want us to try to vibe in an hour, let us know. And thanks for being here on this video for this long. So I hope you learned something. I know I have. And do a little like and subscribe if you want to catch us up. We'll do one of these each week and see how it goes. Thanks guys for joining in. We'll talk to you later. Bye.